Alright, hey guys, and welcome back. As this week I wanted to take a look at a cool new toy that was released earlier this year, released in about January or February 2021, and that is the Kenner Hasbro Ectotron with the Transformers Ghostbusters line. And this is in co-release with the new Ghostbusters Afterlife movie that just came out in theaters June 11th. So I figured I'd take a quick look at this today. Now I gotta say, when this first came out, this toy was really expensive. It was like 60 bucks when it first started appearing in Targets as an exclusive. I definitely don't think it was worth that price. I do believe it probably has gone on clearance at some stores now. So if you can get it for a cheap price, I recommend it. I think it is a nice looking piece to add your collection. You do get a lot of cool stuff with it. Of course, you get the new Ecto 1A Afterlife car, which looks very different, but very similar to the Ecto 1A that we all know and love. You get this awesome Transformers IDW Transformers Ghostbusters #1 comic, Ghosts of Cybertron, which is really cool because it plays into some stuff with like the ghost of like Starscream's ghost, if you guys remember the original cartoon. So it's a really cool tie-in to connect the universes. And then of course these little awesome things, which are probably what suckered me in to buy this in the first place, are these cool little PVC, little translucent rubber ghosts. And we have Slimer and a new ghost for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and that is Muncher. We'll take a little more of a close-up look at them a little bit later on, but doesn't this give you the feels for like the Kenner Real Ghostbusters ghosts that you used to get with all of those, you know, all the figures and the sets and everything? So really cool. It's a really cool nod to the original line, including them in with a new toy. Alright, and let's first take a look at Ectotron's card here. It tells you a little bit more about him. Function, paranormal investigator. When life splatters you with marshmallow goo, just go with it, is his trademark quote. When the Ghostbusters need a ride to the next paranormal hotspot, it's nice to have one who can also handle a proton pack. So, very cool. I like that they're sticking with the old style of the bio cards. If you have the 3D glasses, you can still put them on and it'll like stand out with this little chart there, which is kind of neat. Alright, so now let's take a close-up look at Ectotron in his Ecto 1A mode. And yeah, now he does look very similar to the original Ecto 1A, but with some slight differences. On the front, mainly the biggest difference is the rust, which I think that's a kind of a cool new feature, since this is like, you know, in Afterlife they find it out, you know, on Egon's farm out in the Midwest, and it's just been sitting around forever. So just finding the Ecto 1 with these with the rust and the damage, the little features like that, I think that's kind of cool. And then, aside from that, there's a lot more detailing that's been added to this than we've ever really seen in any version of the Ecto 1. You have a lot of these rubber flexible hoses, which are nice. They really give it a good 3D perspective, but I will say a huge problem with this, especially this blue hose that goes all the way around, when you're actually trying to transform him from robot to his Ecto 1 mode, it is such an ordeal. These hoses, you have to tuck them in under the inside, and they really don't fit well. And they just kind of want to pop out of all these little places that you put them in. So while they do look nice when you have it all transformed in the Ecto 1 mode, it's a pain because it's just poorly designed. They don't really fit right, and it's not very intuitive. It's a very difficult figure to transform, so it can be kind of frustrating even when you're reading the instructions. As far as the rest of the details, though, I mean, it looks just the way that it should. We got the Ghostbusters logo on the back there. Looks like the doors kind of popped apart. Got the headlights, the tail lights, the fins, the Ecto 1 license plate. You got all the sirens and the blasters up top. The Ghostbusters logo on the side. The colors look nice. The cockpit looks a little weird because it's just all clear, so there's no real seats or anything. because that has to be taken up for the rest of the inner workings of the vehicle. You got the tail lights on the back, all the emergency lights. So it looks pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of detail, but then again, there's not really that much detail. I mean, it looks decent for a version of the Ecto 1, but I think they could have done a little bit better with some detailing on the inside to really make it pop just a little bit more. I do like the white on the hubcaps, because that really lets you know like this was an old Cadillac, which is cool. So very, very cool. Now let's take a look at both of these little guys. We have Muncher here and Slimer, and these guys are really, really fun. They just look exactly the way you remember the original little Ghost to look, and I think Muncher's cool. Like, you can put him in with your regular Ghostbusters figures and stuff, and he just blends right into that universe. And of course, Slimer looks great. Their little arms are flexible and stuff. So these are really fun, and they're just really cool. They added them in with this pack. And he also has his gun attachment for the Proton Pack, which doubles as the seat on top of the Ecto 1. That I believe you can put it on when he's in his Ecto 1 mode, but I recommend that you leave it off because it makes it really, really difficult to attach the ladder on the side, and these hoses and stuff tend to want to pop off even more, and I think it just kind of looks better and more streamlined like that anyway. And let's move this to the side for just a second. We can take a look at the IDW comic, which this is one of the nicest things that actually comes with the entire set, and it actually has a pretty decent storyline. It's more just images, but the images are really, really high quality. They're really nice. Let's see, we have Megatron, and he's blasting Starscream. And you have Starscream, it's Emperor Starscream. And there we have Ectotron meeting Bumblebee and Cliffjumper. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. We got Optimus Prime, Jazz, Ironhide. And then we have the Ghostbusters fighting like this Cthulhu-type creature on Earth. And then they realize that they're getting in too far over their head, and you have Starscream's ghost appears on Earth. And they set the trap for him and capture him. And then you see Ectotron transform. So it's a really fun little comic. This is one of my favorite parts about the whole series. I think it's just really neat, and it's a good little read. So I'd like to pick up a few more of these at my local comic store, you know, and continue the story, because I think it's a really interesting tie-in to bring the worlds of the Transformers and the Ghostbusters together. So now let's go ahead and let's transform Ectotron. Now the thing you want to do first is just pop off all of these little rubber attachments, even just for a second there. And then you're going to need to take his seat off, which just pops out like that. And we'll pop that off there. And like I said, he's a very complicated transformer to transform. There's a lot of stuff, even when you read the instructions, that you don't even really realize is there, like with the legs. They're not that bad, but in order to get him to stand, there's these little things that pop out in the back, which when I was first trying to transform this, I didn't realize that they were even there, and I couldn't figure out why he wouldn't stand. But right here in the back, these little pieces, they're very hidden, and they pop out, and if you don't pop them out, then he won't stand at all. And from having Transformers when I was growing up, I'm just used to them being more intuitive, and just, you kind of pick one up and you know how to transform it. And with this guy, he's definitely not that way. So I think that there was a lot of stuff that could have been done better in design, perhaps, that could have made it just more intuitive for, you know, fans of the Transformers series to just kind of know instinctively how to transform him without you know, fiddling with it and getting frustrated. There we are. And then his head pops out from behind this little canopy, which actually I think that's kind of a nice little feature. Very fluid. And I like the face with the Ecto goggles. That's really cool. Now, I gotta say, the plastic does kind of feel cheap with him, which is a shame, especially at the price that he goes for. I really think that they shouldn't have cheaped out on the plastic. Now, these doors, I always have a hard time getting them to transform the correct way, because they don't want to turn. And a lot of times I honestly just leave them like this, because it doesn't really make that big of a difference to me, because it's just so complicated to get them to move that it's honestly not even worth it. So now we've got him standing in his robot mode. And you can see he's kind of bulky. He doesn't really stand naturally. He doesn't really, you know, nothing's very natural about this figure. And it's a shame. I really had high hopes for it when I got it. And then you have to take his little pack, his seat, whatever the heck you want to call this, because it's really both. So it's not really a proton pack or a seat. It's whatever combination of things you want to call it. And you have to transform this into his proton pack, where you flip this down. That moves around. This flips to the side, and now this clips on the back. There's a peg inside here on the back where this will snap onto. There we are. Now, what also makes this complicated too is getting this hose. Again, I really don't like these hoses. Getting them to go around to the side. We'll give him his proton blaster there. And you have to plug this into the top, and it tends to want to pop out when you move his arm, so again, I really think they could have done something better than all these rubber hoses, because they're just kind of a pain. And there we go. We have him pretty much transformed into his robot mode here. And, you know, not too bad overall, but again, like I said, I think they could have done a little bit better of a job, just making it more intuitive, giving it some more premium feel parts, and making the transformation just a little bit easier. But overall, I think he's a decent looking Transformer. I like the proton pack and everything like that. I know there's an official like diecast one version of Ectotron that came out, which is way better than this. But this isn't bad, especially now if you can pick it up, you know, on clearance or what have you. I like how he has the little Ectotron logo kind of on his Ghostbusters uniform. Not too much detail in his robot mode. Like I said, the face with the, you know, the head you can swivel. That looks pretty good. But other than that, pretty basic. But still pretty nice, I guess. You know, there's definitely some cons to this guy. But like I said, I think if you can find it on clearance, I would recommend picking it up. But if he's still at full price, I definitely would not pay full price for this guy, even though he is a cool little addition to the Ghostbusters and Transformers universe. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this quick little review of the new Transformers, Ghostbusters, Ghost of Cybertron, Ectotron Transformer review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you back here next time.
Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and you can follow me at Facebook at King of Retro or Twitter at #8ByteBrian. See you next time.